Chapter 9. Jinchuriki Skirmish, Zombie Brothers. Konoha, unknown location. An aging man sat on a small cushioned chair inside a darkened room. He looked to be waiting for someone. He had many scars on his face, and his right eye and right arm were covered in bandages, obscuring their form and making it look as though he were crippled. A cloaked figure appeared before him, and he smiled a warm smile, or at least as warm as Danzo's smiles could get. "Welcome back," he lost his smile and looked sternly at the rude operative. "Report." "Sir." The man sounded off, acknowledging the order. "From what I have been able to gather, the visit to Kiri did not go well for us. We were unable to obtain the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, and no reparations were made against Water Country." The man reported, quietly noting the little to any change on his leader's visage. "That is what I expected. Sonata can't do anything right for this village, she is too soft, and it's because of that boy. I suppose we will have to take matters into our own hands now." Danzo reached into his pocket and fished out a scroll. He placed it in front of himself. "Take this scroll and alert Haim to gather his squad. He has a new mission that is to begin immediately. I don't want any mistakes, Sai." The masked Anbu, now revealed to be Sai, nodded and along with the scroll, disappeared from sight. Danzo sighed and looked towards the door, silently contemplating the turn of events. "Naruto Uzumaki, did you really think you could escape Konoha's leash that easily? Well, I suppose the roots will just have to drag you back in." Lightning Country, Nagara's outskirts, Nagara Dam. Over 15 Kinkaku bounty hunters hid in the mountain paths surrounding Nagara's chief dam and water processing facility, where currently 2 Akatsuki members were seen walking. The cloaked men appeared to be walking in a random direction, but looks were always deceiving. "Bolt 1 to Bolt 12, do you still have a visual on Yugito?" A radio crackled to life, sending the request to one of the hidden shinobi. "Bolt 12 here, I have Yugito in my sights, she is still inside the administrative building. Do you want me to pull her out?" "That is a negative, we are still waiting for our other guest to arrive. Keep an eye on her." "Roger." Tamura sighed, wishing the stupid mask wasn't in his way so he could rub his forehead. Trailing both Yugito and Akatsuki was annoying business. He wished they could just knock Yugito out and take her back to Kumo, but it was not meant to be. "Come on Naruto, where the hell are you?" The message for him to arrive in Nagara had been sent a few days ago, and he hoped Naruto had the skills to move quickly. The Kinkaku captain had a sinking pit in his stomach. He felt like something was going to happen today, something bad. "Bolt 15, has anyone arrived at the ports yet?" Tamura whispered into his mask's radio, hoping that his operative had seen him. "That is a negative, sir. Unless he is coming by foot, no one has entered this harbor. I'll keep you notified." Tamura held back a sigh and just nodded to himself. He looked left and right. The closest Kinkaku members were leaning over the mountain's edge, flexing their muscles in anger and anticipation. It seemed everyone wanted to take a shot at Akatsuki, even if they didn't have any problems with them to begin with. Probably since they are always smirking, cocky jackasses. "Sir. This is Bolt 9, the Akatsuki are on the move." Tamura could tell that from where he was. What was the big deal? "I know that Bolt 9, what's the rush? They always walk down the same street then go back into town." What so Tamura was interrupted when the man hissed back into his radio, his nerves getting the better of him. "They are entering the administrative building. They must be headed for Yugito, sir." Tamura was about to order the man to calm down when his radio crackled again. "Sir, this is Bolt 12, I have lost Yugito." 1 second she was standing in front of the window and the next she disappeared. "Great, can anything else go wrong right now?" "Sir, the Akatsuki, they're killing everyone in the administrative building, they are slaughtering them." "Shit." Tamura said aloud, the Akatsuki obviously don't like witnesses. "All squads, converge on the surrounding buildings and evacuate as many civilians as you can, the administration building is a no-go. I repeat, the administrative office is off limits. Bolt 12, find me Yugito now, I don't care if you have to beat her senseless, get her back into town. Bolt 15, if you don't have good news for me, I'm gonna skin your ass." "Roger that, sir." His men chorused their assent and moved at top speeds from their concealment points, moving to the few buildings around the dam, and started to evacuate the confused workers. "Bolt 15? Sir, I think I see him, he is running across the water, sir. I repeat, the swordsman has arrived." Tamura smirked, the guy made it right on time. "Alright Naruto, I thought I was going to have to steal all your thunder. This time, looks like you're stealing mine. Now the fun begins." Nagara damn, 5 minutes ago. Hey Kakazu, is today the day we get to catch the cat? Hidan asked his masked partner, eliciting a lazy glare from the man. I already told you this morning, will you shut up already? If you aren't careful, you might just get yourself killed this time. Hidan laughed at the man's accusation, how he wished someone could do that. Yeah Kakazu, whatever you say. I got dibs on this one though, I want a fucking challenge, and I hear that she is one feisty feline. Kakazu sighed and looked him in the eyes. Your jokes suck Hidan, sometimes I just want to kill you. Hidan tried and failed to hold back his laugh and Kakazu had to hold himself back from socking him in the face. Well, do you call dibs on the people inside this building as well? The ex-Taki ninja inquired, eliciting a groan and a mumbled no from the white-haired man as they stood in front of a giant office building. I guess I could spare a few, but you have to let me do my rituals. I hate your rituals, can't you just skip them? Kakazu immediately regretted bothering to ask when the man turned to him with an insulted face. Skip it? Skip it? I can't skip my rituals, that is a blasphemy against God. I was just asking, calm down. Hidan scoffed and actually looked serious for a second. You ready? Kakazu looked at him with another glare and held up his arm, already hardening it with his special technique. Idiot, what the hell kind of question is that? And with that, he punched through the glass door and walked inside, before proceeding to burn through the startled workers with his fire jutsu. Hidan scoffed again and actually opened the door instead of breaking it, throwing his scythe at a fleeing worker. Jackass always has to have a flashy entrance. Nagara, Harbor District. Naruto ran across the water, passing by boats with startled and amazed passengers because of his ability to walk on water. He didn't even spare them a glance though, he was looking for something that would stand out in particular. He jumped up and landed on the solid concrete wharf, looking at his surroundings and trying to find someone that looked like they were here for him. Let's see, there are a few Kumo shinobi guarding the gate, but they don't appear to be interested or involved. I also don't see any wiry civilian informants, those guys are easy to spot in a crowd, so that just leaves. Uzumaki-san? Naruto turned around with a kunai held against a katana with one of the Kinkaku shinobi holding it. Naruto stowed away his weapon as the other man did, trying to not make a scene amongst so many civilians. There really isn't much time to explain, sir. Tamura has already moved to commence operations and I have to get you to their location. If you have a radio, change your frequency to 389.5, that is our squad communication link. Naruto nodded and began to fumble with his communicator while following the golden masked man out of town towards a mountain path flanked by a river. So what exactly is the situation, Anbu-san? The man afforded a glance to his right and looked back forward. From what I can tell over the radio, we lost track of Yugito who we were supposed to be tracking. We think that she is their target, and recently it sounded like they were finally making their move to attack her, other than that I have no idea. I have been at the docks waiting for you to arrive. Naruto grunted in acknowledgement and smirked in satisfaction when he started to hear voices emanating from his earpiece, although the words spoken didn't cheer him up. Sir, buildings 2 and 3 have been evacuated, moving to the last one. Roger that, can someone give me an update on the administrative building? Bolt 5 here, can't see shit from where I am. The windows are covered in blood, it's pretty quiet though sir, I think it might be over. Bolt 12, did you find the blonde yet? Naruto was intrigued by this, was he the blonde? Roger sir, I found her. The bad news is she is inside that building, more specifically in its lower levels where the sewers run. Best I can tell is that she is being followed by the 2 Akatsuki, but they are still moving, we have some time. Keep in touch, prepare yourselves boys. As soon as our guest from Kiri arrives, we will be moving into those tunnels and flushing out the Akatsuki bastards. Maybe Yugito will even reward you poor lonely bastards with a kiss, Kami knows most of you need one. Yes sir. Naruto smirked, that must have been Tamura, he could always liven up a crowd. Naruto turned to his guide to ask how much longer. When will we get there? I would prefer to save the girl than wrap her in a body bag. The Kinkaku ninja chuckled at that. I think most of us have been doubting Akatsuki's abilities, if they were coming after Yugito, they must not know her that well. She is one of the most powerful shinobi of our village, and put that together with the Biju inside of her, and you've got one hell of a combination. No matter how powerful those guys are, they don't stand a chance against her. Naruto wanted to scoff at that but kept quiet, no need to bring about more hostilities. If only you knew just what we were dealing with, Yugito is the one who doesn't stand a chance. If I don't get there quickly, she might just get captured after all. Nagara Dam, Administration Building, sewers. Have to keep moving, have to get to the ambush point. Yugito Nai, Jonin of Kumagakure and Jinchuriki of the two-tailed cat, was running through the sewers, luring her preyerite into a trap. She detested the fact that so many died getting the Akatsuki inside, but she would make the killers pay. She heard a low whine coming from behind her and picked up the pace, trying to reach the end of the narrow passage. Feeling the light shining on her face from the room she was running into, Yugito jumped inside just as she felt the danger reach her. The blonde watched as a scythe sailed harmlessly below her flying body and she landed safely on the water, facing the passage. That was a nice move. She heard one of her pursuers comment. My attacks are the slowest in Akatsuki, so I'm not surprised I wasn't able to hit you. She watched two men appear in the doorway, the two that she had been observing for the past few weeks in Nagara. The one talking was a white-haired man with a slick smirk and a cable he was holding to control his scythe. The other had strange eyes and a taki headband, his face was covered by a mask, and he looked very bored or annoyed. So you really are Akatsuki? Yugito commented, confirming her growing suspicions. You are the only one left here, all alone. The scythe man said, not bothering to confirm or deny the obvious answer. That glare shows you're tough too. This might actually be a challenge, Kakazu. This is the two-tails Jinchuriki. If you're not careful, you will probably die. Hidan smiled at his partner for that. Thank you for your concern, but I doubt this bitch could kill me. Yugito growled. No matter how much I wish she could. Hidan added as an afterthought. Alright, let's do this. Kakazu said after a few moments of tense silence. Hidan took out a Jashin icon and closed his eyes in prayer. Just let me finish praying. Kakazu sighed, his anger rising again. Will you quit it? We have a job to do. Hidan opened his eyes and met his glare. Hey, I don't like it either, but the rules are clear. Yugito was somewhat intrigued by the strange god that the man apparently believed in, but raised no questions. They were enemies after all. Seeing the men distracted, she felt it was time to reveal the reason she ran to the spot. You probably think you have me cornered now, but you are wrong. Yugito formed the serpent hand sign and focused her chakra. Hidan and Kakazu's eyes widened a bit when they heard the familiar sizzle of an explosive tag and looked at the door to see one explode and then another. Soon all the doors had collapsed in on themselves, leaving the three trapped inside the sewer room. I purposely lured you here. Now that I know you are Akatsuki, I cannot allow you to leave here and continue your deeds. The Akatsuki had their own little conversation, ignoring the girl. Looks like she got us good, Kakazu, we're trapped. Hidan faked distress, his partner showing no real signs of emotion. It's not a problem, in fact, this works out even better. She's trapped in here with us, that means no escape in case she tries to turn tail and run. Hidan started laughing after that, much to Yugito and Kakazu's ire. Haha. You actually made a joke, Kaku. Hidan was interrupted when he was backhanded by his partner, his fist shaking in anger. Would you shut up, we have a job to do. Hidan just rubbed his lip and shrugged. Damn it, Kakazu, why the hell did you have to hit me with your damn jutsu too? That hurt like a bitch. I swear on my name, Yugito Nai of Kumagakure, that I will end you here and now. Hidan turned back to his target after that, his humorous attitude gone. You'll kill me? Hidan asked incredulously, pointing his finger at her. You know I really hate when people shout out battle cries like that, it makes me angry. And when I get pissed, the blood rushes to my head. And when blood rushes to my head, Hidan was interrupted by Kakazu, who was at the end of his rope. Shut up, Hidan, you talk too much. Hidan looked at the green-eyed man and shrugged. Sorry. He looked back at Yugito. But when blood rushes to my head, I start forgetting about our objective and just start killing anything and everything. If you don't calm down, Hidan, I will do it for you. Our orders are absolute. Akatsuki's mission really goes against everything I believe in. I mean, leaving someone half dead is blasphemy. Can we just talk this out instead? Yugito's eyes widened in surprise. Talk it out? She asked aloud, curious. What is with these guys? How's about you just let us capture you? Hidan suggested, but soon realized it wasn't the right thing to say when the woman changed from calm to pure anger. She slammed her hands into the water, her chakra overflowing and changing into a deep flaming blue color. Her hair braids snapped from the sudden pressure, and her hair flew up into the air above her, her face in an unbridled fit of rage. Don't mess with me. Yugito began her transformation into the two tails, the blue chakra quickly taking a lumbering shape of a cat over the two men. Yugito's body completely disappeared and she allowed the cat's consciousness to take over somewhat, however she kept most of the control. In her new body, she howled a final battle cry over the two surprised Akatsuki. Whoa, what is up with her? She just let the beast inside take over her, she looks just like it. Kakazu wasn't given time to respond as a large paw came slamming down on him, forcing him to harden his skin and absorb the impact. Hidan gaped at the large paw beside him, surprised at the beast's pure strength. He wasn't given much time to admire, though, as the Biju looked at him with an open mouth and a fireball forming within. Shit. Hidan quickly sidestepped out of the way, just barely avoiding the blast that was meant for him. The fireball impacted the wall and exploded outwards with a large amount of energy. Outside, the ground surrounding the building began to shake, and everyone looked to see the administrative building explode from a large source of pressure. Hidan avoided falling debris from the wrecked building above, hiding behind a piece of rubble big enough to hide his entire figure. He caught his breath and peered around a corner, trying to find the enemy and his partner. Damn cats, I thought they hated hot stuff. He spotted the cat, it was glaring right at him with its pupilless yellow eyes. So this is the two-tailed cat everyone calls the living ghost? It has me right in its trap, I'm like a rat in a maze, that's kinda funny. Hidan chuckled before moving to avoid a swipe that decimated his cover, preparing his scythe when he saw Kakazu up and moving. This is gonna be fun. Nagara Dam, outside perimeter. What the hell was that explosion? Naruto asked upon arriving at the blockade the Kinkaku had set up to ward away any civilians. Tamura stood with at least a dozen other hunters, all snapping on equipment or doing final checks before entering battle. Seeing as he wasn't getting an answer, Naruto stalked up and grabbed Tamura by the collar, eliciting many katana to be drawn against him, to which he ignored. What the hell was that? Naruto asked again, sounding out each word like the men were idiots. He could tell that they were all angry and annoyed by his presence, hell, even Tamura didn't seem all that enthusiastic. He didn't care though, he had to find and destroy the Akatsuki before they could get their hands on another Jinchuriki. That was Yugito's power in combination with her tailed beast. We believe the fighting has already started and we are preparing to set up a perimeter and allow her to fight it out with them. Naruto scoffed. So you aren't going to help her? She is one of your own, damn it. The Kinkaku shifted, some crossing their arms, while others shook their heads. Hey, if you want to get yourself killed by entering the ring with her, that's your call. We normal shinobi would be dead from friendly fire in the first 5 minutes, we will make sure that if she does lose, they won't get away with her. Alright, I'm going in to help her. Watch my back, alright? He started running towards the fireworks but was stopped by a firm hand on his shoulder from Tamura. Naruto growled, this was taking too long. I really would suggest you stay here, you can't keep up with them, no matter your skill. Naruto shrugged off his hand and took off his hunter mask, allowing them to see his face. I'm a Jinchuriki like her, so I damn well better be able to keep up. I'm not allowing them to take her, and I'm sure as hell not going to let you or your men stop me, got it? Tamura and the others had silently gasped at the knowledge of him being a Jinchuriki, but quickly got on the same page with him. Alright, just thought I would give you a fair warning. Try to play nice, we enjoy our dams here in Kumo. Naruto smirked, opting to keep his mask off for this battle. I'll try, but no promises. And with that, Naruto was off, running straight for the battleground that allowed Yugito's hulking form to be seen. Alright men, set up a 2-mile perimeter, no one gets in or out. The Kinkaku saluted their captain and disappeared, leaving Tamura with his own front row seat to what could be the most interesting battle of the millennium. Nagara Dam, Administration Building, ground level. Rah! The large cat swiped its paw at Hidan again while preparing another fireball to be launched at Kakazu. Come on pussycat, you'll have to do better than that. Hidan taunted, weaving in and out of her claws and swipes. Get serious Hidan, quit acting tough. Kakazu went through 3 hand seals quickly while standing on the river outside, slamming his foot into the water. Water release, water wall. A large wall of water shot up in front of him and warded off the fireball, but just barely. Kakazu was squinting from the sheer concentration it required to maintain the wall from the blast. The two tails fire affinity was truly a powerful thing. The Akatsuki's plan was to wait until Yugito had exhausted herself of tailed beast chakra and then move in for the kill with Hidan's special technique, but staying alive was no easy feat with this Jinchuriki. That was why they were picked though, after all, they were nicknamed the Zombie Brothers by Kasama once. No matter what, it just didn't seem possible for the two to die. Lightning release, false darkness. Using his multiple hearts, Kakazu was able to use any affinity he wanted, something which silently pleased him to no end. A yellow outlined mask sprouted from his back and hung over his shoulder, its mouth opening and gathering an almost purely white ball of chakra. The two tails looked intrigued but cautious, holding its position, while Hidan watched the battle unfold, unable to get close to the Jinchuriki and get her blood while she was transformed. The lightning cut across the field and would have slammed into the beast had it not been for its quick thinking. The Bidyu moved itself behind a relatively large size of rubble and that caused the lightning strike the piece. The attack moved through the concrete quickly but gave just enough time for the two tails to break into a run towards Hidan. Shit, I'm gonna be pissed if I have to sew his body back together again. Before Kakazu could move to help his partner, he felt a tingly warning sensation in the back of his head and turned to see a three-pronged kunai headed straight for his face. Shifting his body to avoid it, his eyes widened when a yellow flash appeared in front of him and a strong punch sent him sailing across the water. Slowly getting up, he was met with the sight of a blonde-haired teenager with a large sword on his back and piercing blue eyes glaring at him. Somewhat intrigued, Kakazu searched his databanks for the kid and could recognize no one that he knew of that had a death wish or grudge against him. Looking more closely, past the body armor and ninja weapons, he took in notice that the boy had 3 whisker scars on either cheek. Sifting through his knowledge again, he came to the stunning conclusion. You are the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, aren't you? Naruto circled the man ominously, flexing his fingers in anticipation. Maybe, but that doesn't matter, right? I mean, you are only here for the 2 tails. Kakazu watched the boy and silently his anger grew, not enjoying being mocked by this brat. That's right, we have no quarrel with you. Why don't you just leave and come back once we are done? Naruto scoffed at that, although from his tone, he could tell the man didn't really mean the sentiment either. Fat chance, eventually, I will be the next one on the menu. Best to help out a fellow Jinchuriki now and kill a couple goons in the process. Kakazu growled, a goon? I'm not a goon. Kakazu started running head-on towards Naruto who was amazed by his sheer speed, closing their considerable distance in less than a heartbeat. Naruto barely dodged a punch that went sailing over his lowered shoulder, silently taking notice that his enemy's skin had changed to a darker color. Seeing an opening, Naruto sent a kick to the man's midsection but felt himself being grabbed and thrown across the water, bringing himself to a halt a few dozen feet away. As soon as he landed, he looked up to see Kakazu with his fist reared back, preparing to punch him. Naruto quickly countered by throwing his hand up and catching the fist with a palm, shaking with exertion to hold back the Taki ninja's attack. Kakazu growled and hardened his head, launching a devastating headbutt that immediately broke Naruto's nose and broke his hold over Kakazu's fist. Without any further waiting, Kakazu slammed his hardened fist into Naruto's stomach and winded him, leaving him powerless against a few strong punches before he defended himself. Waiting for an opening, Naruto felt Kyuubi's power surge through him and he gripped the man's leg from his prone position. Kakazu, not expecting the retaliation, felt himself being dragged down and sent straight into a punch that launched him into the air. Naruto quickly picked himself up and went through over 40 hand seals before finishing while Kakazu was zooming towards the ground. Water release, water dragon bullet. A large water dragon appeared from the water in front of Naruto and launched itself towards the immobilized Kakazu. Naruto smirked as the dragon rammed head-on into the ninja and took him into its gaping maw, swallowing him whole. I got him. Naruto's elation quickly deflated when the dragon disappeared and left a huffing and dripping wet but otherwise fine Kakazu on the ground. Naruto again noticed that all the man's visible skin had turned to a blackened color and was curious by this. Kakazu explained to him. Earth Grudge Fear, it is the name of this technique you see here, but it does so much more. It is an earth technique, so I was able to beat your water dragon by hardening my body with earth chakra, shielding it from your attack. Naruto's eyes widened, this guy had earth nature too? But I saw him use a water technique before I entered battle, he has 2 affinities? Dual element, intelligent hard work. Naruto watched 2 masks appear over the man's revealed shoulders and both gathered up chakra for something. Not wanting to wait around for the answer, Naruto went through a few hand signs just as Kakazu released the blast, a water wall appearing in front of him. Naruto soon realized that the combination wind-fire technique was too much for one element and quickly moved away from behind the wall before it collapsed. How many elements does this guy own? Kakazu silently chuckled at the bespectacled look on the teen's face. He must have realized that he had more than just a couple elements now. Two can play at this game. He wants a battle of affinities? I'll give him one. Naruto took off in the opposite direction, pumping his legs with chakra to enhance his speed. He ran straight for land, absently taking solace in the fact that Yugito was still in her two-tails form fighting the other Akatsuki. He frowned though at seeing her able to do little actual damage to him. She obviously was not prepared to take these men down. Good thing I got their message. Why are you running? I thought you wanted to kill me? Kakazu mocked in his monotone gravely voice. Oh, I do, just wait a second. Naruto called over his shoulder but stopped when he felt he had gone far enough onto land. He turned around to face Kakazu who was charging him. Naruto quickly gathered up chakra in his mouth with the dog hand sign. Lava release, lava bullet. Naruto shot out dozens of small globs of lava at a surprised Kakazu who stopped his charge and back-flipped away, observing the new attack. Lava? Using his famed intelligence, Kakazu searched his knowledge data banks for anyone who could properly use lava release so freely. Two possibilities. Either I am mistaken, and this is the four-tailed monkey Jinchuriki, which he most obviously isn't, or this boy is an Uzumaki. I am 91 years old, and I still remember the old days where Uzumaki was an extremely powerful nation out in the Isles of Kiri. Since the 5-year siege over 30 years ago, Uzumaki and the Uzumaki have fallen into despair and entanglement in Kiri's net of influence. Why is there still a pureblood alive, and what the hell is he doing with a tailed beast inside of him? Doesn't matter, I guess. This boy must have a pretty big bounty. I might have to break the rules, just this once. While Kakazu racked his brain with knowledge, Naruto was going through hand seals. He ended with the dog hand sign and stomped his foot onto the ground. The shaking ground awoke Kakazu and alerted him to something wrong. He was just barely able to dodge the hot lava that took the place of the ground, instead choosing to stand on a piece of rubble. I won't be able to stay on this thing for long, the lava is melting it. Sorting through his options, Kakazu went through a few hand signs and lowered his hood so his mouth was uncovered. Water release, violent water wave. A large amount of water shot out of the Akatsuki's mouth and hit the boiling lava, slowly cooling it into a solid ash. Naruto scowled and went through more hand signs, intent on keeping the lava field in play for as long as possible. Lava release, fire pillar landscape destruction. Naruto sent his nature chakra into the ground and, combining with the natural magma underground, shot the supercharged heat upwards and through the soil. The battlefield was now a death trap for both combatants. Even Naruto could not survive such heat from the natural artificial lava mix. The lava and fire spirals were now appearing in random spots, somewhat guided by Naruto's will, and they would unexpectedly launch out of the ground attempting to hit Kakazu with the intense heat. Not bad, kid, you are making this fun. Kakazu noted, enjoying the challenge he had not felt for a long time. Not since the day I attempted to assassinate the first Hokage have I fought someone with such control over advanced nature chakra, very challenging indeed. Shadow clone technique. Naruto made 24 clones, all with their broadswords out and ready to fight against a Taki ninja. Kakazu smirked, the battle was getting to the good part, he completely forgot about Hidan and the two tails. Looks like it's time to get serious. Nagara Dam, rubble, ground level. Hidan felt the tremors in the ground and quickly glanced in the direction he last saw Kakazu fighting the intruder. His eyes widened when he saw what looked to be lava shooting out of the ground in the battle zone, often obscuring the scythe user's vision. Looks like Kakazu's got his hands full over there, wonder who. Hidan couldn't finish his train of thought as he dodged another swipe but was unable to prevent himself from being hit with one of the two tails the cat had. Its fiery qualities led the man to get not only crushed into the ground but burned as well. He once again thanked Jashin for his immortality and promised 100 more souls put to slaughter in his name. Damn it. Why won't you just run out of chakra already, you stupid bitch? The Bidyu appeared to become even more angry after this and charged Hidan, who was yelling out apologies after that. MWAHHH. With one last blast, the two tails launched the largest fireball yet at Hidan, forcing him to be blasted away from the sheer size of the shock wave. Yugito appeared in the fiery center of the beast, the blue fire slowly receding back into her body as she fell victim to exhaustion. Damn it, I haven't even killed one yet. Looks like I'll have to use my normal chakra. Hidan picked himself up off the ground, snapping a few broken or misplaced bones back into place from his jumbled landing. He looked back at the woman and smirked when he saw the beast's chakra had receded, leaving her vulnerable to his attacks. Haha. Now it's time to play. Hidan charged forward, intent on slicing the Jinchuriki with his three-bladed scythe. Yugito pulled out a kunai and began to parry and counter against his attacks, just barely avoiding his attacks each time. Hidan was smirking like a madman, knowing it was only a matter of time before she slipped up and gave him a taste of blood. You can't hold out forever, kitty cat, why don't you just give up? Yugito was getting pissed, she didn't like to lose, especially to men. Fuck you. She backflipped away and got enough distance before her next jutsu. Lightning release, electromagnetic murder. A large surge of electricity flowed from Yugito's clasped hands and shot towards a surprised Hidan who was just barely able to dodge it. Damn it, that would have hurt like a bitch. Poor Hidan was not given any time to rest though because, as he was in mid-air from his sidestep was hit by Yugito's arm. The worst part was that Yugito had enhanced her strength with her tailed beast chakra, a blue chakra cloak covering her body. Hidan felt his chest collapse and give way to her amazingly powerful attack. He looked down at her to see her smirking face. Lariat. The Akatsuki was sent flying into a piece of rubble and felt the pain intensify further, eliciting a hurt groan from him. Yugito looked at him with her cat-like eyes and relished in the tailed beast's chakra coursing through her. Not as strong as Killer Bee or Rikage-sama's, but still powerful enough to take you down. Yugito took comfort in his pained groans but looked over shoulder when she heard an especially loud explosion close by. She silently cursed herself for losing touch with her surroundings so much she hadn't noticed the other enemy's absence until now. How can someone else be here? Better yet, who can stand toe-to-toe with one of these guys other than me? Curious and feeling like her job was done with Hidan, Yugito took off running towards the large battle that was threatening to spill over the artificial dam. Hidan felt his chest close up and a small scar left to commemorate the wound, and he grunted in pain while he pulled himself up. Wiping his lip of the blood that had garnered there, he stalked towards the battle that now occupied his partner and their target. Fucking bitch, that actually hurt. Nagara Dam, ground level. Lava release, lava dragon bullet. Naruto held a dog hand sign as he ran towards Kakazu, who was in turn holding up a hand sign while he ran towards Naruto with the river lake behind him. Water release, great waterfall technique. A large amount of water shifted and sailed into the air from the nearby water source, hanging over Kakazu's head, and impacted the lava dragon head-on. While the dragon was cooled, the rock was still there and Naruto timed his attack perfectly. Kakazu and Naruto reached punching range, and the Akatsuki didn't wait to send a punch straight to Naruto's face, one of which Naruto deftly dodged before he brought up a leg and kicked the man. Kakazu smirked and held the leg, but widened his eyes when a shadow clone flashed to Naruto's left and kicked Kakazu in the stomach, sending him hurtling back in air. A piece of cooled lava debris fell in front of Naruto's face, and he yelled out his next technique, surprising Kakazu with the sheer speed and timing of it. Earth release. Rock blizzard. Naruto gripped the large piece of debris and threw it in front of himself before shattering it into dozens of smaller sharpened pieces from a single punch. These pieces, instead of falling due to gravity, launched themselves towards the still-in-motion Kakazu, and it appeared as though he would be pierced. Naruto frowned when his attack failed as he had expected it to. The man had hardened his skin and cancelled out Naruto's earth technique with his own. Damn, what's it take to beat this guy? I wonder if Hidan is done with the two tails yet. I don't hear any fighting, Kakazu absently mumbled loud enough for Naruto to hear as well. While he didn't take his eyes off his opponent, Naruto was also curious as to how his fellow Jinchuriki was faring. Oh, he is done all right. Naruto and Kakazu looked up to a piece of rubble to see Yugito with her blue chakra cloak still enveloping her sharpened canines visible in the smirk she gave Kakazu. So, Hidan was finally beaten? I must say I'm a bit surprised, but I suppose he had to be incapacitated eventually. Kakazu shrugged his partner's death off, slightly unnerving the other two. You don't care that he is dead at all? Naruto asked, to which Kakazu answered with a lazy stare at the blonde Jinchuriki and a slow shake of the head. I'm only here because of my own ambitions. I could care less about Hidan's well-being. Although, leader won't be pleased when he has to give me another partner. No one has lasted as long as Hidan did. Oh well. Well, you won't have to worry about that. Yugito jumped down to stand next to Naruto, sending chakra to her feet, allowing her to remain on the lava. Since we will kill you before that happens. Naruto was a bit surprised. He didn't expect her to trust him so quickly. I am wondering though, Yugito whispered to Naruto. Who are you? Naruto smiled. I am Naruto Uzumaki, a hunter swordsman from the village hidden in the mist. I also happen to be the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. I was asked to come here and help you fight off Akatsuki. Yugito gasped at the point where he revealed his Jinchuriki status, and she glared at him. What the hell are you doing here? I don't care who asked you to come and help. These men are after the Biju inside of us. If you are captured, who knows what will happen? Naruto shook his head, confusing the other blonde. I know what will happen, and whether you believe it or not, I am just as experienced as you, Yugito-san. I am a jonin of my village, and I have already killed 2 Akatsuki on my own, so I can easily keep up with you. Besides, 11 tails are better than 2, right? Yugito stared at Naruto incredulously until she slowly started to smile. She held out her hand in a quick friend's shake. Well then, Naruto Uzumaki, I accept your help. Now let's finish this guy off. Yugito was interrupted by the unexpected arrival from Hidan, who was cursing up a storm. Hey bitch. Our battle isn't over yet. Kakazu, who the hell is this? Why the hell didn't you kill him and come and help me, you fucking asshole? Kakazu just lazily stared at Hidan before shrugging. I figured you were dead, but I see you are still alive. HMPH. Hidan just stared wide-eyed and had a gaping mouth directed towards Kakazu. That is all you have to say after I almost die for real? You son of a bitch. I hate you, Naruto and Yugito just watched the exchange with mild interest. Naruto almost wanted to laugh at the two's exchange but decided against it. Shut up, Hidan. Let's just finish these two, and then you can bitch all you want. Hidan just glared at him a little more before folding his arms across his chest in a standoff style, looking away in another direction like a pouting child. Fine, but I call dibs on the girly. You'll have both of us. Hidan and Kakazu turned back to the Jinchuriki pair and noticed both had a tail and animal ears from their chakra cloaks, Yugito's blue and Naruto's red-orange. Both had yelled the statement at the same time as they charged the 2 Akatsuki, intent on ending them with the help of their Biju's power. End of Chapter 9. Chapter 10. Battle intensifies, plot thickens. Nagara Dam, ground level. You die now. Naruto growled out as he charged Kakazu, intent on killing the multi-hearted man. Kakazu was intrigued by the Jinchuriki's power but went through a sequence of hand seals and 2 masks appeared over his shoulders again. Naruto's slitted eyes widened before he was blasted by Kakazu's wind fire technique. Got you, Kakazu bragged but felt something approaching behind him and turned to see a chakra fist grasping for him. He jumped away but saw another arm come around, grab him, easily gripping his entire waist and pulling him towards Naruto. The Kyuubi's container had one arm pulled back and a purple Rasengan had been formed. Kakazu was speeding straight towards him without any way to avoid it. Take this. Nine-Tails Rasengan. Naruto put the Rasengan in front of the oncoming fist and watched in satisfaction as it hit Kakazu's heart and sent him exploding backward straight towards a piece of rubble. Kakazu. Hidan tried to run towards him but was once again stopped by Yugito, a wall of fire blocking his path to his partner. Damn, you little bitch. Hidan charged Yugito, but she easily avoided, her speed greatly increased with the cat's chakra flowing through her. 2 Tails Fireball. Hidan looked to see her gathering up a massive chakra in her mouth and began to charge, hoping to get her before she completed it. Oh shit. Hidan was enveloped in blue flames and Yugito smirked in satisfaction. Her elation sunk when she saw the dust clear and Hidan was trying to futilely put out the blue flames on his coat, his face in panic. Damn. If leader finds out I need another cloak, ah shit. Why won't he just die? Thought you had me, didn't you? That's the first time in a while someone made me lose a heart. I must congratulate you. Naruto was now on the defensive as Kakazu swung at him with his fists. He was now back on his feet. Ruit. Naruto grew a second tail and Kakazu felt a slight stinging sensation on his skin, courtesy from the demon chakra seeping out. Naruto threw himself at Kakazu, who was barely able to dodge each attack, every one a little more aggressive than the last. Naruto threw a punch and had it caught by Kakazu. Smirking, he threw a solidified punch at Naruto's cheek. He didn't even flinch. Boil, release, acidic, breathe. Naruto coughed out a small mist from his mouth, and it hit Kakazu's revealed face, causing him to scream in agony and move his hands to his face. With the current advantage, Naruto took out his broadsword and funneled fire chakra into it, making the sharpened edges glow and flicker with the flames now dancing on them. Swinging it in a wide horizontal arc, Naruto hit Kakazu's shoulder, but was stopped when the almost blinded man grabbed the sword with his bare hands and pushed against it. Damn you, xUzumaki. Naruto smirked and reared back his available fist, sending Kakazu sprawling across the ground onto the water. Chasing after him, the blonde made 2 Rasengans in either hand and charged the kneeling man who was trying to get some air. Double Rasengan. Kakazu smirked. Naruto felt himself caught and looked to see his ankles had been latched onto by Kakazu's hands. Naruto looked at the Taki ninja and saw half his arms underwater, the spindly cords connecting the hands to the rest of the arm. Uh-oh. Looks like you fell into my trap. Naruto watched in horror as Kakazu's masks appeared again, the fire and wind gathering up energy again. The blast enveloped Naruto, his feet being released only right before the blast hit. Kakazu scratched the back of his head, watching the newly made steam evaporate into the air after the strong attack. Oops, I killed a Jinchuriki. Leader Kakazu was interrupted when he heard something approaching from behind and saw 2 windmill shuriken approaching him. Do you really think that will work? Kakazu reached out to catch both, but his eyes widened when another shuriken appeared in their shadows. Shadow shuriken technique? Take this. Naruto appeared in a burst of smoke and shoved a Rasengan into Kakazu's stomach, sending him lurching back after the attack. Quickly going through more hand signs, Naruto charged forward and held 2 hands up in front of the prone Kakazu. A water prison appeared around him, preventing him from moving, while Naruto still had a free hand. The water prison, eh? Interesting. Kakazu went silent and Naruto wondered what he was planning. You don't have much time to plan, I'm going to drown you. Naruto went through a small bunch of one-handed seals and slammed his hand onto the water. Lava release? Underwater magma trap. Kakazu's eyes widened when he looked down to see a faint glowing light. It was a small volcano being formed underneath the water. Naruto smirked but turned to see the entire water prison was murky with mud. He could no longer see the prisoner. Dropping the prison, Naruto backed away and saw the mud form into Kakazu, who was not very happy. I may have lost my water affinity, but I can still take this kid down. Fire release? Grand fireball. Naruto shot off a fireball, only to see the wounded Kakazu go through the same hand seals, bringing a hand up to his mouth. Fire release? Grand fireball. The 2 fireballs collided, and the 2 were launched into a vicious tug of war with each other, pushing chakra into their attack. Naruto broke his attack first and moved to the side, launching a kunai at Kakazu. The Taki ninja's eyes widened when he recognized the weapon from before. He teleports with that thing. He prefers to hit my right side, so. Naruto teleported but was met with a firm kick to the face that sent him sprawling on the water, surprising him. How the hell did he knew I was going to flash at that spot? You are too easy to read, kid. Maybe you should work up a strategy before you use that jutsu again. Kakazu mocked him before releasing one of his masks from his body. It was the lightning mask that Naruto had not seen for some time. Shadow clone technique. Naruto created 20 clones and launched them at Kakazu, engaging him in a one-sided sword battle. Kakazu gripped the longsword of the first clone and pulled on it easily with his earth-enhanced strength, punching the clone and making it disappear. Good, buy me some time. The blonde launched himself towards the lightning mask, intent on destroying it first. The mask turned to face him and launched a large spike of lightning towards his figure, making him dodge. A shadow clone appeared behind the large beast and it turned around on the water to squash it, leaving Naruto free to move. Fire release? Fire dragon flame bomb. A concentrated flow of white-hot fire launched from Naruto's mouth, hitting the strangely shaped body of the mask. It screamed silently in agony before Naruto's clone sent a Rasengan right into its face, destroying the mask for good. 2 masks down, 3 to go. Naruto turned around from the melting black chakra to a punch in the face. Kakazu towered over him, and he had a look of unbridled rage on his face. This little bastard, he's taken 2 of my hearts, I will just have to take his. I don't know why I never took one of your clansmen's hearts back when they were around, But now I have a chance rectify that mistake. Naruto's eyes widened when he heard that and felt himself pinned and sinking underwater, small threads attaching to the armor directly over his heart. You can't escape from me, either you drown or you die from being without a heart. I get what I want either way. Naruto let loose a muffled gasp for air and watched the bubbles float to the surface, the light fading away from him. He felt a heat beneath him and turned his head to see his volcano still intact. It was his finishing move for this fight. Hey Fox. I need some of your chakra so I can get this guy off of me. Fine, damn needy humans. You better kill him this time, playing around with our prey is so boring. Yeah. Naruto felt Kyuubi's chakra surge through him and he broke the iron hold over one of his arms and started to repeatedly punch Kakazu's hardened face. He felt his knuckles break and reform over and over again, but the Akatsuki would not budge. Lava release, lava bullet. Naruto shot off a point-blank bullet of lava right into Kakazu's face, the combination element defeating the Taki ninja's hardened skin. Desperate to try and get the lava off before it cooled, Kakazu released Naruto again and ended up regretting it. Now being free to move, Naruto laid a kick over Kakazu's back and sent him hurtling down towards the active volcano. Seeing that he was being herded towards certain doom, Kakazu flipped himself over and attempted to swim upwards but was caught by Naruto. I want to kill you, remember? You die here and now, go rot in the center of the earth. Kakazu could do nothing as he was punched repeatedly in the stomach, edging him farther towards the slowly closing volcano. With a final kick to the stomach, Kakazu was sent right into the burning lava that was still remaining thanks to Naruto's chakra. Setting foot on the edge of the lava substance, Naruto went through a few hand signs before slamming both hands onto the earth part of the volcano. Earth release, devouring earth subduction. Nothing was heard as the volcano silently sunk underneath the ground, closing like a Venus flytrap around the burning Kakazu. Naruto returned to the shore for much-needed air and to escape the underwater prison. Upon reaching the mangled ruins of the battlefield, Naruto collapsed onto the ground and felt himself blacking out. The last thing he remembered seeing was a flash of gold and nothingness. Sir, I think the swordsman is out cold. The Kinkaku squad had moved to assist when Naruto had been dragged underwater but now found themselves tending to a victorious blonde. Is he injured? Tamura asked. The medic shook his head. Nothing that won't heal on its own, but the man was cut off by a large explosion and the bounty hunters turned to see Yugito get shot straight through a piece of rubble. She landed amongst a pile of rocks and did not get up. Hidan stalked towards her with a giant smirk on his face, the scythe hanging limply over his shoulder as he walked towards her. Did you really think you could win? I bet Kakazu has already gotten the other one and is just waiting for me to finish up. Fucking asshole. Yugito tried to stand but felt all her strength leave her, she had nothing left to fight the enemy with. Damn it, I'm sorry Kumo. Just as she was about to accept her fate and capture at the hands of Akatsuki, over 15 Kinkaku hunters' body flickered around her, their katana held in a defensive posture. Kinkaku? What the hell are they? Wait, they must be the chakra signatures Nibi felt before the attack started. Akatsuki? You will not take a single step further. You have attacked one of our ninja and you will pay for that crime with death. Hidan grew a tick on his forehead. I hate people that make stupid fucking battle cries like that. Yugito tried to wave them off, to run away, but she was too weak. Tamura looked over his shoulder and shook his head towards the young woman who was struggling to maintain consciousness. It's all right Yugito-sama, we have everything under control. We will keep both you and Naruto safe, I promise. Yugito's eyes widened a bit at the thought of Naruto and wondered if he was all right. Yugito's half-lidded eyes wandered until they landed on an unconscious Naruto on the ground nearby. A small smile graced her lips. She settled into an unconscious state herself soon after, relieved from her responsibilities and giving Tamura rein. Thank Kami. Tamura, without taking his eyes off the smirking Hidan, gave a few hand signals pointing out Yugito and Naruto. Two of his Kinkaku squad members stiffened a bit and disappeared into blurs. The unconscious forms of Yugito and Naruto had gone missing as well. Hidan scowled, them running was going to make his job a lot harder. Boy. Kakazu, go kill those guys and get the damn Jinchuriki, Kakazu? Tamura smirked behind his mask. Your friend is dead, he was killed by the other Jinchuriki. It's just you, us and a whole lot of ground to cover until you reach Kumo. We won't allow you to make it very far of course. Hidan's eyes widened. Kakazu was dead? Son of a bitch, bastard would leave me all the work in the end. Probably laughing in his fucking grave, fucking asshole. What makes you so sure you can kill me when your precious Jinchuriki couldn't? Tamura frowned, there had to be some way to kill him, right? Let's find out, shall we? Tamura and his men launched themselves at the cloaked man. Kumo mountain range, 2 miles from Nagara Dam. How far do you think we should go with these two? One of the masked hunters asked his partner, adjusting the human package he held behind his back. His partner shrugged. I doubt the captain would want us to just stop moving with them, we will rendezvous in Kumo. Naruto and Yugito were still unconscious, their arms limply hanging off the ninja's shoulders. The battle had been very exhausting for both of them, fighting off Akatsuki was no easy feat. Kirigakure, Mizukage Suite. Mei sat in her office, finishing up her paperwork for the day. She neatly stacked her papers in the proper tray and got up from her chair, opting to look out across the village as she enjoyed to do. Her thoughts drifted from her everyday stress and problems back to her fiancé, Naruto. Naruto, are you alright? Have you won? To lose Naruto would be a stab to the heart for Mei, and she truly hated sending him out of the village. She would rather tie him up and leave him at home every day she left. He is a ninja of Kiri now, I can't coddle him. He is powerful as well, probably stronger than I am, and yet I still worry. Of course it was perfectly natural for her to worry given her love and care for him, but it took its toll on her every day he was gone. Mei turned around and went over to her desk to get something. She took out a scroll that she had been writing in every once in a while. It was an idea list for where to have the wedding. She had planned to discuss it with Naruto after she had all the ideas she could think of. Locations for the wedding. Kiri Overlook, hill above Kirigakure. Terumi Uzumaki Estate. Uzumaki Ruins. She wrote in the last one after much thought and indecision. Naruto and Mei had yet to visit their homeland since his arrival, too busy with their duties as ninja to find time. It would be the perfect place actually, Mei mused, Uzumaki being married in Uzumaki. Mei was already thinking of the traditions and customs that they could partake in as true-blood Uzumaki. The marriage ceremonies were marvelous with an old-time feel to them. She could already see Naruto and herself in traditional Yuzu clothing walking across the whirlpool vortexes on the eastern coast of Whirlpool. She sighed in happiness. Mizukage-sama? Mei gasped, looking at the door to see Ao with his chosen squad members standing there with curious faces. She had commissioned him for a mission outside the village and lost track of the briefing time. Sorry Ao, just reminiscing about my wedding. Shall we begin? Ao smiled at that. To see the Mizukage happy would bring a smile to any person's face. Yes ma'am. Nagara Dam. Ha. Is that all you've got? Hidan was swinging his scythe at any Kinkaku shinobi that would get too close, a murderous smirk on his face. The two sides had been fighting for the past half hour and no end was in sight, but Hidan had easily wounded over half of them. Hiya. Ha ha ha. One unlucky ninja was unable to parry all 3 blades and was sliced in half by Hidan, who laughed at the dead man's expense. Tamura gritted his teeth and prepared his signature jutsu, tired of the Sakatsuki. Lightning release? Bolt or shot? Hidan's eyebrow worked at the technique and could only watch in fascination as Tamura pointed his finger at him and squinted his eyes. The white-haired man felt pain in his chest area and looked to see a relatively small hole right over his heart, the lightning shot going straight through the organ. Tamura's eyes widened when, instead of falling over dead, Hidan poked his finger through the hole and laughed a crazed chuckle. Ha 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 ha. That tickled, the pain felt so perfect. Tamura and his men were shocked. What the hell was this guy? Charge him again. Hit him from all sides. The shinobi let out a battle cry and charged the smirking Hidan. Tamura launched his katana at Hidan's weapon arm, hoping to at least distract him. Hidan countered the captain's attack with his scythe while he used his other arm to grab his metallic spike and blocked another katana. One of Tamura's subordinates launched his attack on Hidan's vulnerable front side but was beaten down with a perfectly timed kick to the chin, sending him down for the count. Hiya. 2 golden masks surged their katana with lightning energy and sent them straight through Hidan's abdomen. They looked up to see Hidan looking at them with an annoyed scowl and a fake yawn, as if their attack was nothing. Ow. That kind of hurt, you little bastards. Hidan flexed his arm muscles and Tamura tensed up. Jump away, now. Not a second too soon, the 4 ninja jumped away before Hidan freed himself and sliced the air in front of him. Sighing, Tamura relaxed his muscles and took up a leisure concentrated stance in front of the Akatsuki his breathing leveling out and chakra coursing across his skin. "Rikage-sama, please forgive me." Lightning release, lightning armor release. A thick screen of electricity sparked and took shape over Tamura's body, surprising his men and earning the intrigue of the Scythe Man. "Oh, what's thigh?" Hidan was unable to finish when Tamura disappeared and reappeared right in front of him, elbowing him hard in the stomach. The attack sent him flying and brought him crashing into a piece of rubble, but this did not stop the Kinkaku's onslaught. Each punch and kick brought the force of 1,000 more with the lightning enhancement, quickly bringing Hidan's curiosity to an annoyed anger. "Ah! Get off of me." Tamura was straddling Hidan, laying punch after punch into his face with no real effect. Hidan was finally able to hook his leg under Tamura and with a strained grunt, pushed him off and swung his scythe, cutting right through the Kumo nin's armor and making it look like confetti. "Ah!" The captain fell into a heap against a pile of rubble, clutching his bleeding chest, and watched his executioner walk towards him. "I'm gonna make this slow." Hidan brought up his scythe with 2 hands and was about to bring it down when one of the Kinkaku shinobi jumped on his back and pierced his neck with a kunai. Hidan started to gurgle on his own blood but fought to shake off the man who was grasping onto what was left of his cloak. Another Kumo nin rammed into Hidan's stomach and tried to make the bigger man fall onto his back, but Hidan held strong and began to beat the man's back with his fist. The final squad member rushed in and elbowed Hidan right in the face, bringing the Akatsuki down with a heap onto the ground. The man on his back rolled away to safety. Tamura was now up with his katana in his hands, now holding his weapon in an executioner fashion above his head with both hands. Hidan looked up at him with a look that no one had seen him make in a long time, absolute fear. "Why won't you just die?" With every ounce of strength he had left, Tamura brought his weapon down onto the man's neck and severed Hidan's head from his body, bringing an end to the fight. Huffing from sheer exhaustion, he moved to see to his men but stopped when he heard a growl from behind him. Slowly turning around, his eyes threatened to leave his head when he saw Hidan's head still talking and glaring at him. "Boy. You bring my body over here right now and put me back together so I can kick your fucking ass." Pure anger and adrenaline the only thing fueling his body, Tamura ran towards Hidan's terrified head and punted it right into the lake. Tamura looked over the edge of the water and watched the head sink down into the murky liquid. The thought would surely haunt him for some time after. He dusted off imaginary dirt on his gloved hands and gave a tired smirk to his men. "Well, all in a day's work, boys." And with that, the Kinkaku captain rightfully collapsed, brought down by the fight that had defeated the Jinchuriki as well. He fell into sleep content with the knowledge that they had won and Akatsuki had lost. 2 days later, Kumagakura, hospital. Naruto opened his eyes to see white, just white. At first panicking because he thought he was dead, he decided to look left and found a sleeping Yugito in a hospital bed of her own. Naruto reasoned that they had been taken to a relatively large city in Lightning Country and patched up, but where exactly they were and what the situation with Akatsuki were the big questions on his mind. Stretching his muscles, he felt that he had the strength to get up and slowly pulled himself out of bed. He wobbled slightly and noticed his clothing was neatly folded on a nearby chair but started to chuckle when he saw a small trench where someone dragged his sword across the floor. It was leaning against the wall next to his clothes. Too bad for the floor. Quickly pulling on his clothing and weapons, Naruto prepared to head out of the room and head for Kiri but was stopped by a hand gripping his arm. He turned his head to see a pleading Yugito in her revealing hospital gown. She tightened her grip on his sleeve, obviously not wanting to leave so soon. "I never got the chance to thank you. You didn't think you were going to get away so easily now, did you?" Yugito said, smirking, and Naruto chuckled, scratching the back of his head nervously. "Sorry, I didn't mean to leave so suddenly like this, but I need to head back home. I've already taken too much of Kumo's care and time. I don't want to impose." Yugito scoffed at that. Kumo would regard him as a hero, not as a weakling. "Nonsense, there is nothing wrong with you being here. And why do you have to leave so soon?" Naruto glanced at her and saw what she was obviously hinting at with her half-lidded eyes and slight shake of her hips. He chuckled nervously again with a blush, hoping to not get beaten for this by her or Mei. "Well, you see," Naruto pushed his pointer fingers together nervously. "I'm engaged." Yugito's eyes widened. "Engaged? Wah?" Naruto just nodded dumbly. If he had never met Mei and instead come to Kumo, maybe he would have been with Yugito instead. No one can replace my whirlpool goddess, not even Yogito. Well, putting that aside. Yogito tried to move away from the subject, obviously disappointed that Naruto was taken. I've been racking my brain for a way to thank you for rescuing me, and I came up with a great idea. Naruto was interested in this. What could it be? Yes, what is it, Yogito-san? Naruto asked after her drawn-out pause. Yogito smiled. Training. I'm sure I can show you a few non-Kumo techniques and even a few skills that can only be used by us Jinchuriki. Naruto's mouth was open in surprise. She would be willing to teach him? I can't, Yogito just quieted him with a finger over his mouth. She even giggled when he began to blush. Such a shame he's taken. I would have loved to get a date. You can see the muscles bulging out of his armor, they're so big. Meow. Let me just get dressed and we can get started, it shouldn't take too long. Naruto was still in a daze and Yogito smirked, already starting to rid herself of the uncomfortable gown. Naruto? The teen turned to her and she giggled. Do you plan on staying in the room and watching me take off my clothes? Naruto's mouth was agape in surprise before he started to stutter out apologies while he ushered himself out of the room. Yes, very cute indeed. Kirigakure, 1 week later. Naruto flashed to the front door of the Terumi Uzumaki estate, feeling tired after a week's worth of training in Kumo. While he enjoyed his stay in the city hidden in the clouds, he wanted to return home every second he was there. Naruto crept into the house, silently waving off to the ceremonial Anbu guards at the door who nodded in response. It was in the late evening, and if Naruto knew Mei, she was taking her nightly shower right now. Moving slowly up the stairs and giddy with anticipation of his beautiful fiancée's body, Naruto was just barely able to walk right. Seeing the lights on in the bathroom, Naruto moved to his old room and stowed away his armor and weapons, leaving him only in his underclothes. He opened the door and felt himself assaulted with the humid mist generated from the steamy shower. Mei's shampoo and natural fragrance surrounded him as he took off his clothes. Mei was humming a small tune her mom had taught her when she was young, an old Uzumaki folk song for peace and rejoice. She often enjoyed singing or humming tunes when she was alone or stressed. It helped her keep calm. She needed it especially now. Naruto had not returned and it had been almost 2 weeks. Even though she received a message from Kumo a few days ago detailing that Naruto was safe and victorious, Mei was still not very pleased with not having her future husband home. She ceased moving her hands through her ankle-length hair when she felt strong arms wrap around her, jolting her senses. She cursed herself for not noticing the person's presence before, but calmed immediately when she heard Naruto's voice speak softly to her ear. I'm home, Mei-heim. She smiled, overjoyed that he came back to her unharmed. Mei turned around in his arms and kissed him passionately, not wanting to let go of the blonde. Naruto responded in kind and kissed back with equal ferocity. He had missed his princess while he was away for so long. Breaking the kiss, they looked into each other's eyes and knew words were not needed to express the happiness of their reunion. Naruto-koi, I'm so happy you're back. Naruto nodded and tightened his hold on her smaller frame. Mei smirked when she felt Naruto's hand move to her rear, and when he began to nibble on her neck she started to giggle. Someone missed me. Mei allowed herself to be pushed against a shower wall and craned her neck so as to reveal more of her skin that Naruto seemed to have an appetite for. Trailing his love bites farther down her body, Naruto reached her breasts and began to nibble and suck on her nipples, enjoying the sound of her moans of pleasure. He would switch off between either breast every other few minutes, Mei's hand gently pushing him from the back of his head, nursing him as if he was her child. Oh god Naruto, you are so good at this. Naruto smirked and began to move lower, licking and kissing her firm stomach and belly button. It sent shivers up Mei's spine. Her breath hitched in anticipation as Naruto reached her small tuft of russet red hair near her lower regions, kissing it and moving to the lips. She pouted in disappointment when he purposely avoided her lips and moved instead to her supple thighs, kissing them and staying away from the real prize. Mei couldn't take it any longer and using her strength pushed Naruto right to her spot, lightning coursing through her. Please, Naruto. I can't take much more. Naruto smirked again before assaulting Mei's core with his tongue, launching a devastating attack that made her writhe in agonizing pleasure. He continued pleasuring her for some time, eventually adding a finger inside of her as well, much to her surprise and delight. He began to lick at her liquids that were pouring out now, wanting more of it. Mei was in heaven. Naruto hadn't even penetrated her yet, and she was already about to come. They had only started 10 minutes ago. Ah. Naruto. 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 Mei released a burning desire that had built up within her for so long, drenching Naruto with her juices to which he happily drank. After cleaning her up, Naruto stood back up from his knees and kissed her passionately. Mei tasted herself from his tongue and moaned in ecstasy. He lifted up one of her legs by the thigh and positioned himself right in front of her entrance. He looked into her emerald eyes for permission and saw her granting, almost begging for him to begin, to which he did in earnest. Naruto rammed himself into her, working into a rhythm with her movements as well. Being inside of her was the epitome of perfect for Naruto, there could be no better vice. Too soon her moans intensified, and Naruto felt Mei tighten herself around him, almost ready to come. "Naruto, baby, I'm gonna come." Naruto smiled and kissed Mei's supple lips, making them both moan as she came with him, following not far afterwards, her tightening too much for him to bear. The lovers just stayed in the middle of the shower holding each other for some time before they got out and dressed themselves for bed. Upon arriving in the bedroom, Naruto led Mei to sit on the bed and held both of her hands, causing her to become curious as to what he was doing. "Naruto-koi?" Naruto smiled, trying to reassure her there was nothing wrong. "Mei-hime, we haven't had much time to spend together lately, have we?" Mei frowned, slowly shaking her head negatively. The two had little time for each other with their duties, it was a source of much unhappiness for both. "I want tomorrow to be just about us, alright Mei? How about you and I just go out and be together all day, not worrying about our duties for once?" Mei looked at him with surprise and thoughtfulness, not expecting this from Naruto. Well, a Mizukage taking off would look horrible on the record, Naruto frowned while Mei started to smile. "But I think I can make an exception for my fiancé for one day. It's a date." Naruto looked at her with a happy smile and kissed her softly, glad she agreed. They laid themselves down on the bed and snuggled up with one another, happy that they were now back in each other's arms and that they would finally have some time for each other. Amagakure. Pain, we have received word that Hidan and Kakazu have failed. The two tails remains as did the one tail. A blue-haired woman alerted a bright orange-haired man that stood looking out across an industrialized city. The pierced man sighed and looked back at the equally pierced woman, little emotion other than stoic annoyance could be found from his features. This unknown enemy hunting us is a formidable one indeed. However, Pain turned around to look at the city again. It is strange that someone would risk their lives in such a manner to save Jinchuuriki, who are known to be total social outcasts for what they carry in them. So it leaves only one possibility as to the culprit. Conan's eyes widened for only a second in recognition. "You mean?" Pain turned to her and stared into her amber eyes with his ringed purple ones. "Yes, a fellow Jinchuuriki is hunting us, and I would like to find out which one, so I can stop him. Myself if need be." Conan's eyes widened again. "He would take care of the enemy? I will alert Zetsu immediately." Pain. Unnamed Kiri Isle. Hayo stood with his small squad of fellow route members. They had made a base camp on of the smaller islands off the coast of Kiri for their mission. He reviewed the plan one more time in his head, having already destroyed the mission scroll given to him by Sai. "Naruto Uzumaki, we will stop your little vacation to Kiri. You insolent little whelp, actually thinking you could just leave Konoha, the Nine Tails belongs to us." End of chapter 10.